Today we're going to be unboxing the 17 watt LED corn bulb from Sansi. This brand of bulb has been something I've been using for a little bit of time. I actually have them in the lights behind you. Let me go ahead and see if I can show you that. Yeah, so you can see I do have these bulbs behind me. They are the bigger brother of the ones that we're going to be opening today. But they basically work the same. So these are 17 watts, and the other ones that I currently have had are the 27 watts. So let me pull up the Amazon here. So you can see the page here. At the time I purchased this, it was around $22 a globe. And then if you look at the Big Brother equivalent, it comes in a 2-pack. Even though it says $57, it is about $29 a globe. The cool thing about both of these light bulbs is they come in either daylight or they come in a soft warm, which is your traditional tungsten look. So I prefer to have the daylight looking ones just so that when I'm outside or inside, it looks the same and it's consistent. I actually already purchased 2 of these bulbs, which are in the globes now, and those are set to daylight and they are dimmable. So you can get the non-dimmable ones for a little bit cheaper. It's really up to you on what you want to do. So let's go ahead and dive in and unbox. Okay, so we have our two globes here, 2 boxes here. I'm gonna go ahead and open this guy up. Try to recenter myself here. And as you see, we have the bulb itself. I skipped a spot, so I want to show you the side here. You can look at all this information as well off of the Amazon ad or what have you, but just so you know, all that information's there. Hopefully you can see that pretty easily. To get that information, feel free to go back and pause the video. So as I open this case, I'm going to pull off this top cardboard section. I'm going to go ahead and grab the globe and pull that out. So this is a hard plastic, and those are the LEDs. So those actually do emit in all directions. So that's why I have the China balls behind me. I actually put this with a rope inside the China ball, and that creates a nice even light across the whole room. So you can see there's an exhaust fan here because it does need a little bit of cooling, even though it doesn't need a ton. And yeah, it's durable plastic, it looks like, on the outside, which is pretty typical for this kind of bulb. In general, it has some ratings and signs on here. I can see if I can bring it into you to show you what those say. Sorry if it's kind of hard to read, but hopefully that makes sense. And if you need to, you can pause and read any of this information. I guess I should be going this way. So if you need to, you can pause and read any of this information that is on the bulb itself. Okay, which ultimately is some of the same information that you see on the ad. It is an Edison plug, or an E26, I believe is the name. Yeah, and these lights do get pretty bright. So it is a 17 watt draw, but it does put out 2700 lumens, which is about 150 to a 200 watt equivalent. And so a traditional household bulb is usually like 60 to 100 watts. So just imagine that this is going to be at least twice as bright as the brightest bulbs that you currently have in your house if you have 100 watt tungsten. The difference is this only draws 17 watts of power. So that means you're probably going to get around 5 times the amount of energy efficiency, and your power bill is going to go down when using a globe like this. Plus you have the added benefit of it being extra bright. And so I've been pretty happy with this brand of bulb so far. Let me show you the difference between this smaller one again and the bigger 2700 watt one. So as I pull up the Amazon order here, or the Amazon page here, you'll see it's $22 for the 17 watt one. And then again, if you go to the bigger one, it's going to be $29. So is it worth it to go from $23 to $29? Is it worth that extra $5 or $6 to upgrade to the bigger bulb? Honestly, I don't think it is. I mean, I am happy I have the brighter bulbs in the background, but I think these have performed fairly well and they are fairly bright. If you have the money and you don't mind spending a couple extra bucks, I would say from what I've seen, you get a 20% more power from those other bulbs. So I do want to point out that the dimming features are kind of limited, even though it says on the ad on Amazon that it is 100% dimmable down from 0 to 100%. I found that these 17 watt globes can go down to maybe about 18% before they shut off. So I don't know exactly how those faders have worked. I will show you here. If I go back to Amazon, I did buy 2 different dimmers. So this is one of the 2 that I bought. This is the Smart Dimmer Plug Treat Life. And then I also bought Runac, I think. So I bought both of these dimmers. They both did the same thing. where there is kind of a cutoff on the low end. I don't know if these dimmers are just more sensitive than these bulbs or how that works, or there's just something lost in the translation if you buy the exact same dimmer and the exact same bulb setup that I had. I do have to say that on a cloudy day, you can have these lights at 100% and go from outside to inside, and it'll feel about the same as far as brightness goes, going from one to the other. And another major tip that I want to talk about is the China balls. So those are fairly inexpensive and a fairly easy setup to do. So in the film industry, we would call them China balls. And so I guess now they're being advertised as something a little bit different. It makes sense that the politically correct term would be lantern instead of China ball. I apologize if that's offensive to anybody, but that's just the term that I knew from working in the film industry. So anyways, these lanterns that surround the light itself, the ball, really helps diffuse the light. And what that means is instead of having harsh shadows on your face, these lights will allow you to see that softly. Basically what that means is your shadows are going to be diffused or not as sharp, not as crisp, and that actually is better for skin tones when you want more of a beauty look or a softer look on people's skin. And so that's the difference between like what you're seeing now. Like my skin is under very soft light, right? And if you saw me under direct sunlight, or if I plugged in this bulb directly, you would see a clear difference between the two. So I could show a photo here, or a picture to show what that would look like to distinguish the two. But I would say for most people, I would go with a softer look over a harsher look. So as you can see here, these lanterns come in a variety of sizes, and they come in a 5-pack. And it's kind of weird that the 16-inch ones don't come with shipping, but they're cheaper than the 12-inch. But the 12 inches come with free shipping. So the total for the 16s are technically more expensive, but it's neither here or there. Another trick I did is I put the 12s inside of the 16s, so it's a double layer of diffusion. And so that creates an even softer look and a more even spread look across your subject, which would be me in this situation, or across the room, like it is in the background behind me. So I should also point out I am using some LEDs to create this little green effect behind me as well. So those LEDs I'll show you as well. So these are what those LEDs look like. Unfortunately, these LEDs do not dim very well on camera. So these are the LEDs. They are 20 watt equivalent, and it came in a 4-pack. At the time of recording, this is $54.99 for this 4-pack. So I'm currently using 2 in the background behind me to help create this powered here, this green wash here. I'm also diffusing it with this material that's used in the film industry. I think it's a 250 diffusion essentially. And so that's the intensity or the thickness of this. You can also use parchment paper like the stuff you would use in your kitchen. Just know that for LEDs, they do still produce a little bit of heat. So just be careful that nothing catches fire. For traditional bulbs, you probably don't want to use parchment paper. You probably want to get the real deal just in case, but I do want to point that out. So let's finish unboxing this. There is a few other things left here to go through. There is a little kind of business card thing here that Sansi sends you. It says congratulations. You know, you can review on Facebook and Twitter, and they want you to email them directly if you have any other needs, that kind of thing. That's kind of cute, cool business card looking thing. This is the energy efficiency stuff, which tells you the output and the cost. 3 hours a day, based on 3 hours a day, and 11 cents per kilowatt hour, which actually is pretty accurate, pretty cool. And that's pretty much it. I'll give you one more tour of the box here. Nothing too crazy here. And then one more look here at the bulb. I'm not going to sit here and count all the different LEDs. But again, if you diffuse this, I think that would be the best thing to do. That way it's not all directly from these LEDs. What happens when you have an array like this is each one of these casts its own shadow. And so having a China ball will also help create one single shadow. And so a light like this could be used with Alexa, and then you can dim it up and down. So Alexa, turn table to 100%. So you'll see the glow that happened in the background. Alexa, turn couch to 100%. Alexa, turn off all the lights. Cool. And so that's what the double fusion looks like with a 27 watt in the background. Now I am using 2 of these in front of me now. And I only currently have 1 layer of diffusion. I probably will add 1 more layer of diffusion to help create that soft look that I was talking about earlier. But it is pretty nice to have this on a dimmer and to be able to adjust these lights and to balance it with the background. Thank you. Have a good rest of your day.